Alright, I have an idea. I have an idea now. It's actually taking me a day to get back to this, just because I'm a bit of a lazy prick. But on the plus side, I have some ideas. So we're gonna get back into list form. It's like close fist and open hand, but it involves way more bullshit. You remember our flowchart from before. This is just gonna help me get my nonsense in order. So we're actually gonna delete all of this, because this doesn't matter. Oh dear. Don't delete all of it then. Alright, so my concept for what's going on here, why does it keep doing that? Stop. So my concept for the 11th level is going to be for open hand, or the classic redirect Bagua sort of nonsense. If you don't know what Bagua is, watch The One, starring Jet Li. Good movie. 30 seconds and all that. Where's my mouse? Okay. It'll teach you everything you need to know about Kung Fu. Watch The One. Jesus. Take the wheel. So my concept here is, for open hand, 11th level is going to be, on the physical journey. Physical journey, open hand, 11th level. Oh god, things are getting way too modular now. But, it's fine. What we're gonna do, oh, gassy. What we're going to do is we are going to have it work in a manner similar to the core ability, Deflect Projectiles. Deflect Missiles. So we're just going to copy and paste this because, again, I'm lazy. We're going to alter it as necessary. Because what this is going to do... Where is my cheat sheet? Here we go. Where's my workspace? Fantastic. Everything is on. It would suck terribly if you were staring at a blank screen for 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Ish. Alright. What are you doing? Stop that. Text only, nerd. Oh. Oh, no. No. Sure. These are the two parts of it. It's one thing, but it's being weird. Being dumb. In fact, here. You stop being a list. So starting at 11th level, 1-1, PH. You can use your reaction to deflect or catch, So, deflect missile is you block a missile attack, and if you reduce the damage to 0, you can use a key point to throw it at somebody. It's really rad. But what we're doing is going to be for melee attacks. to deflect or catch the Alright, how do we want to write this? Because we're working from something, we're going to write it along the way, rather than do my statements, which would actually be more helpful. You can use your reaction to deflect or catch the force of a melee attack that hits you. When you do, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your monk level. Now, obviously, this makes the monk way too powerful. So we're going to make it that you have to spend key to do this. You can spend 1 key point to use your reaction to deflect or catch the force of a melee attack that hits you. When you do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your monk level. Bam. At 11th level, that's 11 plus dex plus a d10. So that could be a lot. You are almost likely going to negate certain sources of damage. And by making it spend a key point, and it has to be a reaction, you're cut down a little bit on how often this can happen. You can still get clustered. You can still get ganged up on. This is how you kill a Jedi. Send many more people than they can fight. That's how it works. If you reduce the damage to 0, what we're going to say is that you can if you have at least one hand free, we'll put that in parentheses, because I like parentheses. Immediately. No. Initiate a grapple. Now, if you maintain this grapple at the beginning of your next turn, we're going to say that you can make an attack with that person. You can basically throw that person into another person within like probably 20 feet or something like that. Or you can throw them 20 feet. And like you can use them to knock other people down. I think that seems pretty rad. If you maintain your hold on the target, no double spaces, thank you. at the beginning. Beginning? That's not the word. Beginning. Alright. Do we want this to spend a key point? You are launching a person of indeterminate size, because I'm not super clear on grapple rules. I haven't found where that is, basically. Let me look around. This online searchable of the SRD is really helpful, but it does not seem to cover. Here we go, grappling. When you grab a creature or wrestle with it, you can make the attack action to make a special melee attack a grapple. If you are able to make multiple attacks with the action, this attack replaces one of them. Target of your grapple must be no more than one size larger than you, so basically they can't be bigger than large by way of how character creation works. Using at least one free hand, you try to seize the target by making a grapple check instead of an attack roll. It's a strength athletics versus their strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics. Target chooses the ability. If you succeed, you subject them to the grappled condition. Escaping a grapple. Condition specifies the things that end it. Escaping a grapple. Grappled creature can use an action to escape. Strength, athletics, or dexterity acrobatics check, contested by your strength check. Athletics check. Okay. What all things cause a grapple to end? That we're not just turning this into an instant throw a person move. D to the R to the A, P, P, L, D. Yes, there's an E and I didn't say it because it doesn't matter. Ends if the grappler is incapacitated. An effect removes a grappled creature from the reach of the grappler or grappling effect, such as if they're hurled away by a thunderous storm. Okay. So there are ways to get a person out of a grapple. Neat. You can spend one key point to make a So basically, what I'm saying is in order to use this move to its fullest, you would have to spend 2 key points if I retain the key points from my copy and paste. At 11th level, when you first get this ability, you will have 11 key. Which means you could do this effect at most, to its fullest effect, at most, what? 5 times? Yeah, 5 times. That's how math works. let's go ahead and remove the key point cost of this. You can make a ranged attack with the target. As an action. So it's a special action to throw the person. You make it with proficiency, that's fine. Well, because it's a person, proficiency, weapon proficiency doesn't really matter, so we'll just say, yeah, of course. Counts as a monk weapon for the attack, which has a normal range of 20 feet, and a long range of 60 feet, so you could huck somebody with disadvantage. That's a little silly, but I like it because it's funny. And we may get rid of that later. I might end up giving it an absolute range of 20. Or maybe sort of cut the difference and make it 30. Yeah, let's say it has an absolute range of 30. And does. No. And does. Not 23 feet, that's weird. Huh, strange. Spell check seems to want to get rid of that comma, which I guess I'm fine with. Fine with. Hmm. There we go. That seems fine. That way the damage scales as you go up, and does not really matter depending on the size of the creature. It's a little funky, but I think it works. It's a little bit video gamey, but that's fine. Absolute range of 30 feet, deals your martial arts damage to both the thrown creature and the target it hits. I guess if you miss, it just wouldn't deal the damage to the thrown creature. Maybe it would deal half damage. I don't know. I don't want to get too far into that. This is the basic ability I'm going with. For open hand. Control. Now we come to Closed Fist. Closed Fist, I'm still not entirely sure what I'm doing with. It's a little strange. Because I have all these cool ideas for grabs and throws and area control, but when it comes to raw power, aside from just dealing more damage, there's not a lot you can do that isn't area control and denial. So, as with the last archetype, it's the Closed Fist that's going to take me a long time to get through. Until then, let's copy and paste this nonsense. And bring it on up. Oh, come on. Ain't nobody got time for your nonsense. There we go. Nope. Now, as for... Sorry, scratchy throat. Drink some water. Or I would, if I didn't just drink from a glass of Kool-Aid. As for the Closed Fist, I had something for this, and I've been kicking around a few ideas. But I'm not terribly chuffed with any of them. So I don't really know where to go with this. So time for me to waffle about for another hour, creating one single ability, right? Anime power moves, biatch. Should we also do something grapply with this? I think we can keep up the thematic of it. One's a, like, hip throw or a shoulder throw. The other is, I grab you and I just sort of, oh, like a suplex. That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea of just like a suplex or a power bomb. You can take like a grappled opponent and you can just like make an athletics check to slam them into the ground, dealing extra damage. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Let's do that. And potentially paralyzing them for a while would be neat. Let's do that. That sounds rad. I like it. We're gonna do a power bomb. Don't ask me why I said it that way. Why I typed it that way. Some things man was not meant to know. Fine, I'll change it. Power bomb. Alright, so when you wish upon a star, Okay. So reading through grappling, I've learned that it's actually pretty rad, and we're about to make it even more rad. Because you can grapple as part of multiple attacks at your disposal. So I guess the concept is that you would make one attack with a grapple, do no damage, but then do one of these power bombs, boom, for way too much damage. Yeah. Okay. Let me look up something. See if I can find it in the SRD. Thank goodness for searchable stuff. Am I right? What am I looking for? I am looking for not grappled specifically. I looked up grappling. It's neat. It's pretty rad. I'll reopen it. See what. Hmm. Jumping. That's what I was gonna look up. Jumping. I want to look up how it considers jumping in the scheme of things. And to do that, I need to look up athletics. Maybe acrobatics. No, we'll go with athletics. Raw power and all that. But I cannot find any solid information on what sort of height you can get when jumping. Like, what's the limitations of that? Hmm. Because I want to base some of the extra power of this slam on how high you jump as part of the attack. Alternatively, we may turn it into a fun suplex of sorts. I'm gonna look up different kinds of suplexes now. Oh my god. Suplex. What kinds of suplex? Vertical suplex, always fun. Crotch clutch suplex? Oh dear. I guess we would be looking up belly to belly variants. The exploder suplex? Oh my god, there's gotta be a video of that somewhere. And no. Nah. Not for me. Anyway, suplex is a suplex. You grab the person, you huck them over your shoulder, and you sort of bring them down. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. We'll come to a descriptor for it later. Grab and slam. Into the ground? Into the ground. You may take one of your attacks to jump and slam your grappled target into the ground. How is this referred to as? Okay. Make a strength athletics check. Let's say that if you make this check, you will deal the bonus damage. Otherwise, you'll deal sort of normal damage. No, that's not quite fair. How about I want this to sort of determine extra bonus damage. It would be entirely too much to add the check to the damage. But maybe on a success, you add your strength athletics bonus to the damage. No, because that's kind of lame too. I mean, this is 11th level. This is where things start to ramp up, right? You're over the hill. You're at the crest. You're at the midpoint between that and the final progression. It needs to be grand, but not too grand. That's TOO grand, not TO grand, and definitely not TWO grand. And not TU grand or TU umlaut grand. Because those aren't even a thing. At least not in English. Anyway, let's continue our thing. So we'll come back to specifics later. We'll go back to general list format for this because we're deving this from scratch. Yeah, if you have a grappled enemy, you can, as an attack, as one of your attacks, so it can be part of your normal string, to slam a jam this guy. Perhaps what we do is we make the attack roll using the athletics check instead of your normal. Sort of requires that a closed fist monk go for athletics as one of their skills. And that takes away a little bit of player agency and player choice. And my philosophy in general is, say it with me now, players should have choices. And it takes that and throws it out the window. At least to an extent. Now you could say, oh, well, you're building for it, and there's other options available to you. And that's fine. And of course there's the why wouldn't you do it if you were going this way? And of course there's the, well, Bell theory, it sounds like you're trying to talk yourself into this rather than out of it. And all of those are accurate. I have an idea. I have an idea. Martial arts damage, please. But here's where it comes into play. So you make the attack as normal, but it deals double your martial arts damage. Also, okay. So when you make this attack, you deal double damage. In fact, I may boost that. In fact, let's go ahead and add. Okay, so it's a martial arts attack that deals your normal damage, twice the die, basically. Plus, you add your strength athletics modifier to it. So you get a bunch of extra damage for basically foregoing an attack to try and grab them and slam them into the ground. And you make a strength check versus their AC. Let me look this up. I want to make sure this isn't going too far. Now, okay, what I'm about to propose here sort of flies in the face of a lot of the 5th edition design philosophy, which from dev diaries I've gleaned is basically they want people to make as few rolls as possible because rolling takes time and that's annoying. It does take up time. And obviously you want to go for the as fast as possible. And the way I'm doing this, I'm about to suggest here, is that you roll against their AC. If you succeed, then they roll a save. That's not, or they become paralyzed for a number of rounds, which takes time and involves a lot of back and forth. So what I'm suggesting now, upon reviewing that, and I get why that's annoying, this is a very powerful ability. At least as far as I'm feeling it. And I don't know how much I'm feeling this. Which means we kind of need to prevent chain throwing with this. And to do that, when you make this attack, whether or not they succeed versus your opposed check, it ends the grappled condition. So, regardless of the scenario, uh, okay. So what this boils down to, in its crazy list format, I'm going to walk you through this, is here's how I'm envisioning this goes. You take your attack action, which, at this level, you get 2 attacks, and theoretically you can spend a key to get 2 martial arts attacks. So, what you could do, here's the ideal scenario, is that you spend your first attack of your attack action to grapple, and then basically hit 2 martial arts attacks while they're grappled, which I believe is something you can do while grappling. At least from my reading it. And then you finish off your attacks, having spent key. Or even if you don't, then you just do 1 attack and then you finish off with a bonus action to do a martial arts attack. Either way. To do this slam. So you pick them up, and you slam them into the ground. It doubles the dice that you use for your martial arts attack damage. You use whatever ability score you normally use, and you add your strength athletics modifier to the damage. So you get, basically you make up for not dealing damage with the grapple, and you get a little something for your trouble, on top of which, when you rock to the ground, the grapple is released. And regardless of whether they are paralyzed by the hit or not, you and the target are both on the ground, prone, and will have to take time to stand up. Ugh. That, I don't know how powerful that is now. That's, I don't know if that comes across as worth it, as opposed to prevent damage from a fool and throw that fool into another fool. This is kind of crazy, and I don't know if it's worth doing. I guess time will tell. This will require some playtesting. Oh dear. Let's go ahead and copy and paste this. And put it up in our proper work area. Oh, for Christ's sake. Huh. How do we want to say this? Beginning at 11th level, you learn to use your opponent's very body as a weapon against them. Now, one thing that's coming to mind now is, do we allow how do we do this? Do we want it to be you choose open hand the entire way, or do we want it to be that you choose a technique? Like, if you choose one path, you're stuck with that path. Or do we want them, the player, to be able to mix and match as they go along? Huh. I kind of like that idea. That way, they're not players can continue to go the way they want, or they can mix and match a little bit. And it makes it feel a little bit less like I'm making two archetypes and just saying that they're one. So, how do we start by saying that? We will go ahead and say, I guess we technically need another placeholder here. We will call this first ability a single step. Yeah, and that means we're going to go ahead and not call these the closed fist technique of a level and the open hand technique of a level. What we're going to do is we're going to sort of rename them as well. And yeah, so we'll copy and paste again. Alright. And I am leaving those double spaces there on purpose so I know to come back and fill them in. Now, what to call these? Um, well, what to call the level of it, the gain. Um, I don't know. Do that. Let's Google wrestling moves. Alright, so with the power bomb, it looks like go ahead, video sort of does its thing, so you grab them and you slam them. Yeah, no, I like that. In fact, I think to that end, we'll go ahead and remove the you become prone as well, because I'm not going to have it be a suplex anymore. We're going to turn it into a power bomb. So let's go ahead and just flat out call this a power bomb. Because I like it. Yeah. Because everybody knows that the single most lethal martial art in the world is professional wrestling. Never hurts to be extra thorough when it comes to descriptions. Yeah. Making this attack ends the grappled condition and the target is left prone. Alright. After the damage is resolved, against their Constitution save, if you succeed, the target is paralyzed for 1d4 rounds. That might be a little much. But hey ho, what you gonna do? Alright. When you have hold of a grappled opponent, you may take one of your martial arts attacks to jump and slam your grappled target to the ground. The attack doubles your martial arts damage dice and adds your strength athletics modifier to the damage in addition to your normal bonuses. After the attack is resolved, make a strength athletics check against the target's constitution save. If you succeed, the target is paralyzed for 1d4 rounds. Making this attack ends the grappled condition and the target is left prone. even if they succeed on their Constitution save. There we go. Powerful, but not too powerful. Hopefully. Testing will be required. Further testing will be required. Let's refer to you as currently we'll call you a shoulder throw. Now, shoulder throw is not quite as impressive. 30 feet is a distance. Also, it's primarily a defensive maneuver. Regardless if you throw them or not. What do we call you? Naming things is hard. It's so hard, you guys. I don't even know what I'm doing. Oh, God. Oh, God. I suppose we can continue to call it, open hand for now, but huh. There's got to be a word in some martial arts or another for this maneuver. Oh, I just got an idea. We're gonna call you catch and release. Yeah, that's fun. Now, despite the fact that I'm making some pretty uh, whatever. You can be weird about it. It's fine. The grammar is strange. I get it, but it's accurate. You learn either catch and release or power bomb. Hey, that did it. The catch and release or the power bomb maneuver. Hey, I learned how computers think. Sweet. Do I want to come up with a name for this level's gain right now, or do I want to push that off for later? I kind of want to push it off for later. But whatever. We're gonna look up random nonsense. Huh. Here's an entire Wikipedia page, a small one, pretty much just a stub, to the phrase, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Journey of 1,000 leagues starts beneath one's feet. It's a common saying that originated from a famous Chinese proverb. Which is what I just said. The quotation is from chapter 64 of the Tao Te Ching, probably mispronounced that, ascribed to Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu. Tzu. Z's are T's, sort of. Ow. Tzu. Oh, Lao Tzu. Yeah, okay. Goodness. Like they took 3 languages for a single name and then translated those into a single one for our fat tongues. Classical Chinese, which can be difficult to understand completely. Yeah, no, I can believe that. Relies heavily on illusion, a corpus of standard literary works, semantic meanings. Oh dear. Yeah. Neat. I've learned several things today. I've learned exactly what a power bomb is, and it's exactly what I thought it was, so I was right all along. And I learned that the uh Ao Te Jing is pretty rad. I'm looking for quotations from it now. Let's look for Chapter 64 of the Tao Te Ching. No? No, we're not doing that? Stop. Why'd you open up a new window of not what I was looking for? Journey of 1,000 miles starts under one's feet. He who acts defeats his own purpose. He who grasps loses. The sage does not act, and so is not defeated. He does not grasp, and therefore does not lose. Well, that statement flies exactly in the opposite of these abilities here. Give as much care to the end as to the beginning. Huh. None of this is useful to my exact circumstance. Let's move along. Pick another thing. Another? Nah, this doesn't work. We'll save this for later. I've spent enough time on a different window entirely. Dooby dooby doop dooby doop doo. 17th level. The pinnacle of the archetype. This is where the archetype comes to a close. Let's do a little formatting to procrastinate while I do this. Okay. So I'm still following the same sort of design philosophy of one ability about redirection and one about overpowering the enemy. At least I like to think that that's what I'm going by. I'm probably wrong. No. Oh, goodness. 17th level. I didn't think much about the 17th level ability. I was kicking it around, but as I was focusing on the 11th level abilities, I just sort of slipped and did not do anything. But the SRD says that about the monk, or sort of the style that I'm cribbing, with the physical punch you square in the jobber, is the Quivering Palm, which I have moved over to my shadowy assassin type archetype. Because I feel that works better. No killing touch. Which, kind of feels like it would work for overwhelming power, right? You touch someone and they die. But the way Quivering Palm works is you hit them with a strike, and you spend key points. You spend 3 key points to basically put them into a kill mode, where they then make a save to either drop down to 0 hit points or uh, instead take 10d10 like necrotic damage. Ooh, forgive me. Yawning a little bit, which I shouldn't because I haven't been up that long. So, where are we then? And where are we now? And where are we going in the future? I don't know. Space is big. We'll find there eventually. Fortunately, by the time our galaxy hits another galaxy, we as a species will be long dead, so we won't have to worry about that. Unfortunately, by the time our galaxy hits another galaxy, we as a species will be long dead, and we won't get to see what that looks like. Which is kind of a bummer. I imagine it's going to be pretty rad. Yawning again. Stop it. Crack open a soda pop. Crisp. Room temperature, Canada Dry. Beautiful. Not sponsored, but if they ever send me Infinite Canada Dry, I will drink it. Use it for cooking. I like to put it in my ramen. You might think that's weird, but if you basically add it to your water so that you're at the same amount of water, you use less water and use a little bit of very little bit of ginger ale, you can get a really cool effect with making a broth. What I like to do, and yes, I'm procrastinating thinking up something. It's on the back burner. Don't worry, it's simmering. Is when I'm making ramen, I take I like to make a broth these days to go with it. I've gotten back into ramen as a soup as opposed to ramen as a noodle. And what I do is I like to make a broth using approximately an eighth of a cup per pack of ramen. Because I do ramen by 2 packs at a time, and I use about a quarter cup of ginger ale when I do so. Or maybe you just go with a quarter cup of ginger ale, regardless of the size, and you'll end up okay. As long as you don't go above 3, maybe 4. If you want to make a lot of ramen, maybe use more ginger ale at that point. If I do that, I put in, I don't know quite how much soy sauce, probably an equal amount of soy sauce, but probably less than that, probably about half as much soy sauce, if not even less than that. Just add soy sauce to it until it darkens a bit, is the end goal here. And then once that comes to a boil, add your packages of seasoning to it, and let that come back to a boil. Mix that in, let that dissolve properly, and then you add once it comes back to a boil, you add your noodles to it, and you let it go for 3 minutes. When I do it, because I use a very small pot when making my ramen to keep it nice and controllable, nice and compact, the process, I like to hold it down so that it's just under the surface and touching the bottom of the pot with so obviously I use less water, less fluid than is described by the package. But I like to hold it down with a fork and let it sit there. Every minute I basically alter the positioning of the ramen, so I'll flip it over so that the package that was on the bottom is now on the top. The what was on the top gets some cooking time on the bottom. After 2 minutes, I sort of stir it up because it's now all the bonds have loosened and the noodle is no longer crispy, so it can stir like normal noodle. And I leave it for the last minute like that. But when I'm making my broth, sometimes I like to add like condiment packages from restaurants. Arby's sauce works well, but the go-to is also from Arby's, is the 3 pepper sauce. If you add a package of condiment per package of noodle that you're doing, you can't go wrong. But the 3 pepper sauce is some good stuff. Arby's, 3 pepper sauce, ramen. Oh, that's as far as I've gotten. Then you throw it in a bowl and you eat it. It's food. Okay, that's enough procrastinating. So maybe for our closed fist inspired ability, it does become as simple as spend key, get bonus damage. Like you, or we can turn it into a sort of compounding hit. Like, ooh, yeah, we do like a Fist of the North Star thing, where the more hits you do, the more damage you do, sort of thing. No, that's okay. That the more you hit a person, the more damage you do to them. Yeah, that's how it works. Uh, but I guess my idea is to like spend an amount of key points. Let's just make our list again. Let's make our list again. Sorry, mate. So let's say that we do the JoJo's Bizarre Ora 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 Ora, and when you take an attack action, you can spend key. Okay, let's go down the list of requirements here. So, attack action, spend key, gain flurry of blows. Uh, so this would be in addition to the flurry of blows that you could gain as a bonus action. This is just 2 extra attacks for funsies. And when you do this, oh dear. Okay. When you do this, each attack made each round in that round gains an extra d6. Well, let me count this up because this could get insane. Uh, the way I'm thinking of this is it gains an extra gains. We'll just call it plus damage for now. We'll just call it plus damage for now. For each previous attack made in that round. Alright, now how do we want to deal with that? For 17th level, just adding 1 for each and just letting it, spiral up. The idea is that it would compound on each other. So, for example, one attack gives, uh, you know, one attack equals 0 bonus damage. The second attack deals 1 bonus damage. The third attack would deal 2 bonus damage. Would deal 2 bonus damage. And theoretically, you could get up to 6 doing this, because you could then spend a key as a bonus action to do 2 more attacks with your actual flurry of blows. So let's just say 4, 5, 6. Barring any weirdness of extra attacks from other features or classes or what have you, you're looking at 3. Goodness. My brain sometimes. 4, 5. So 5, 9, 12, 14, 15 bonus damage overall if you just added raw damage using this concept. Now, let's say we turn that into D4s of a damage type. Let's say we turn that into D4 force damage. You're looking at a possible 15d4, which is a lot. If we made a d6, that might even be too much. So if we change it to each attack that hits, even under ideal circumstances, you would deal bonus damage. So the first one doesn't get bonus damage, the second one gets a bonus die of damage, the third one would get 2 extra bonus die of damage, and so on and so forth. And if you were to miss, like let's say the fourth attack misses, that doesn't break the chain and start it over. It just means that your 5th attack is your 4th attack that hits. If you at all get what I'm saying there. I don't know how to write this in a way that doesn't sound insane. But the general concept is the more you hit, the more damage your next hit does. It gains 1d4 . And yeah, I like the idea of it dealing force damage. For each previous attack that hit in that round. So the more you hit, the harder you hit, and you just boom, 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 boom. Now, because this puts you into a mode, we need to make it cost more ki than just 1. Now, I think 3 is okay. Because basically 3 is what Quivering Palm uses. And Quivering Palm, even on a successful Constitution save, deals 10d10 necrotic damage. And you can use that as a bap, 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 bap. Of sorts. I believe it takes an action to trigger it. Yeah, it takes an action to trigger it, so you can punch somebody, next round, trigger the explosion, next round, hit them, next round, trigger the explosion of damage. With Quivering Palm. I think that the physical journeys thing is, for this, I think the good old ora, good old the wordery will work fine. Let's, leave that the way it is for now. And let's work on a sort of, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. Do. You know what I'm talking about. As for the way Open Hand is going to treat things, I have no gosh darn clue. Because when it comes to Closed Fist, you can just go, ooh, bonus damage. For this, you have to think more about redirection, about control, about a status effect. I would like to throw a status effect in there, and so far, the last ability we made had more status effect on the Closed Fist, because I guess the concept is that you slam a jam them and call it a day, and just kick them while they're down. Kick them in their teeth. As for Open Hand, I got no gosh darn clue. Let's for now say that this is spends 3 ki. Okay. Here's an idea. Feel free to tell me how stupid this is in the comments, or what I'm accidentally stealing from. You basically enter a mode where you can jet around the battlefield, punishing people who try to make an attack in the area. Eh? Obviously, you have to physically be able to move to them, but I think a 20-foot radius of yourself, if anybody makes an attack against you or an ally, basically it extends your attack of opportunity to other things, and for any reason. Or at least for attacking. It does leave you open to attacks, to opportunity attacks, which isn't great. No, I don't know. I mean, that's alright. It works thematically for the whole control aspect, area control aspect, but I'm not sure. It also seems like something that's probably out of the Naruto's, and on principle, I cannot have that on my conscience. Or in my campaign world. At least not willfully. Perhaps instead... Well, how can we work that ability, really? If we want area control and status effects, perhaps we make up our own status effect purely for level 17 Open Hand. the physical journey, level 17. And we sort of queue it up in the same way. And I'm trying not to just make a more complex quivering palm by doing this. Because my idea is that attacks that you make on people will basically give them a stack or a counter. And the more of these counters on them, I don't know, something happens. But like the counter decays by 1 per round if they are more than 20 feet away from you, basically. Goodness, this is getting complex already. But what does this counter do? Perhaps it imposes a... No, because we're getting out of... This is powering up the body. This is buffing the body. I'd like the ability... I like the concept of buffing the body and somehow turning that into an area control via movement. Okay, we're gonna go back to our last thought, our original thought, and we're gonna say that you basically you go into a stance. Go into a stance. You spend key, go into a stance. Spend key. Go into stance. Go into stance. Stance! I'm falling apart at halftime. Spend key to go into a stance. How long is the question? How long is the question? And I'm thinking probably just 1 round. Go into a stance, and what this stance will do is it puts you into a hyper-aware state or whatever that allows you to react to attacks within hmm 20 feet. 20 feet sounds fine for now. Attacks within 20 feet of you. You will straight up blink to them. Any attack within 20 feet of you, any enemy attacks within 20 feet of any person attacking an ally within 20 feet of you. We'll clean it up later. Blink to attacker. So that you don't provoke an attack of opportunity, an opportunity attack. You just, whoop, Dragon Ball Z style, you're all up in their business. And then you can make an attack against them. How do we want to do that? Perhaps, yeah, we'll say that you just make an attack against them. And if it succeeds, Success means that you stop their attack. Now, how do we want to do our key usage on this? Because this is starting to turn into a crazy thing where you blink around the battlefield, you deal normal damage, but you flat out stop enemies from attacking your allies. You just blink, bleep, 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 bleep. You stop, you stop, you stop. In fact, we might want to go real crazy with it. Let me go real crazy with it. Well, not too crazy with, because I'm looking at this. What I wanted to do was say that it scales with your unarmored movement. So your unarmored movement at 17th is 25, according to the SRD, anyway. And then at 18th, it becomes 30, and that's where it caps out. So you would have one level of a slightly gimped version of this ability. Meh. Not worth it. Let's just make it 30. If I want to go crazy with it, let's just make it 30 feet. 30 feet of me. So within 30 feet of you, you can blink to an attacker somebody who's attacking an ally. And furthermore, this stance, let's specify what this stance does exactly. How the key usage works of it. So you will spend, let's say, one key to go into this stance. One key puts you in this stance for one round. Now you might be saying, Beltheria, holy cow, that's too much, or that's not enough key. That's a lot of benefit for one key. And you're right. That would be. But what we want to do is have this that you then can spend, that you can do all of this as a reaction. All of this is as a reaction. So as a reaction, when you're in this stance, you can blink to an attacker within 30 feet of you. Somebody makes an attack within 30 feet of you. You get to blink to them. I'll probably change that to straight up teleport because I don't know. We want to keep everything as on the level as possible. Everything needs to be, what's the word? Consistent. So if we look up blink as a spell, hopefully it's in the SRD. I would like for it to be. As much as it can. Please, D, C, A, Ain, Bark, Beacon, Blade, Bless, Blur, Blink. Okay. Well, the conceptual thing is that you blink, but you will teleport. Teleport to someone making an attack within 30 feet of you. You can attack them, and if you successfully deal damage, in fact, we'll just say that if you deal damage, you stop their attack. Furthermore, what the stance allows you to do is that you may spend one key to make a reaction. To take a reaction. Action. Alright? So, that could be costly, but it could also stop a lot of badness in a single round. It's area control, you blink around, you act like a real jerk to the enemy, you shut down their attacks on allies. It's real good. I think that's okay. It's gonna cost. But it also means that it only costs as much as you want it to cost. So while for raw damage, you're probably better off looking at the closed fist anime power moves biatch. The open hand is more defensive. Because you can flat out stop enemies from attacking your allies. Now, we get to work on getting these into words, into comprehensible language. Beginning at 17th level. You become capable of how do we want to fluff this up? An empowered state. So basically, okay. You may enter into an empowered state, gaining dominance over your foes. You may choose to learn either the blank or blank stances. Alright. As to what we'll call those, I don't rightly know, but let's start making language happen, yeah? We will start by copy and pasting our work. Oh dear. Here we go again. Here I go again on my own. Going down the only road I've ever known. Do. That's like a quivering poem for an idea of what to do here. Nah. Alright. When you take an attack action, you may spend 3 key points. May spend 3 key points to enter a special attack stance. You gain the effect of Flurry of Blows. Without using a bonus action. But may still use a bonus action to also gain a second effect for Flurry of Blows. But may still take a bonus action. Take. Ugh. Okay. Now how do we make this next sentence make sense? Till the start of your next turn. That way you can still punish people who try to do, or super punish people who try to move out of your reach. If you've really hurt somebody and they try to move away without a disengage action, punish them. Okay. You gain the effect of Flurry of Blows without using a bonus action, but may still take a bonus action to use the Flurry of Blows effect. Or to, yeah. Furthermore, yeah, furthermore, oop, each attack made in that round gains 1d4 bonus force damage for each. Now let's no gains a bonus 1d4 force damage for each previous attack that you have hit, that you have dealt damage with in that round. What is this? Nothing. There's no problem. You're lying to me. Excellent. Now, let's see if we can turn this gobbledygook into something that makes sense. Number agreement. Whatever. It's Dungeons and Dragons. Number agreements are going to happen, word. Alright. Holy heck. How do we say this? We will turn this into as a bonus action. We'll copy and paste from Closed Fist. A little bit as we work this out. We will say as a bonus action, you may spend 3 key points. It's 1 key point. You may spend 1 key point to enter a special stance until the start of your next turn. Seems fine to me so far. A special defensive stance. So, until the start of your next turn, we'll buff this a little bit as well. There's the dodge action, which I don't quite remember what it does. SRD, save me. And I dodge. Alright. Until the start of your next turn, you are treated as having taken the dodge action. So we're buffing it already. So that at the very least, even if you don't spend key to do these abilities, you can spend a key to basically take a dodge action. Pretty rad. Not 17th level rad, but pretty rad. And I guess I actually do need to capitalize that. Bonus action! Ah! This part is going to run a little bit long. I am sorry for that, but I want to finish off, at least aside from naming conventions, we will have our abilities down. And one day I will come back and I will place fulfill these placeholder names, and we'll run a clean hit on this. But your treat is having taken the dodge action. Uh, Another furthermore, because I love the word. Furthermore, furthermore, you may use a reaction to teleport to an enemy within 30 feet of you who is targeting yourself or an ally with an attack. If you do so, you may immediately, that is spelled wrong, autocorrect save me, make a single martial arts attack against them, single unarmed attack against them. Same thing. I'll clean up the formatting later. You may immediately make an attack against that target if you deal damage to them in this way. The triggering attack is prevented. And let's cram it in a little earlier. Until the start of your next turn, you are treated as having taken the dodge action and may spend 1 key point to take a reaction. Solid. Good enough. Okay. Let me just delete the unnecessary stuff here. Come on. Nailed it. We'll work on names later. Holy cow. Internet. Thanks for sticking with me. It took an entire 2 hours to get 4 more abilities down, which is, I guess, par for the course. And I haven't even gotten names for most of them. I haven't gotten names for the abilities gained, just the moves that you can do from them, and only 2 out of the 4. I got 90% of the way there. Okay. Criminy. This takes a while. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for sticking with me through 4 hours of working on a single branch of the monk. Y'all are just something special. I appreciate you. If I've never said it before, let it be known now. I appreciate you guys. You have an excellent day, week, month, or even year. 'Cause I'll be there for you. 'Cause you're there for me to do.